It is good to be with you again. I love it. I love it. I love it. So we're going to give just a few more moments, but one of the things I love about these calls are they tend to be a little bit more intimate. You have 15 people show up, register, and then you have a fewer number than that actually show up. But what it allows us to do is do something kind of intimate and fun, and really get inside of individual businesses. So open book. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and dig in. We're at about 5 minutes after the hour. Kenny, are you ready, my friend?
I'm ready.
Okay. For those of you who've had the chance to work with Kenny or know Kenny, Kenny is in charge of all of the advertising at EmoryDay. So he has forgotten more about it than I will know. I started the pay-per-click early in our universe. And I really enjoyed it, but that's when it was a much simpler space. Today, there's 10 times more platforms, 10 times more customizability. And then just when you think you understand it, they then put in a little AI and say, we know better. So it's always a moving target. Kenny, you and your team are fantastic, and I appreciate you sharing today.
Thank you. Thank you for joining today. We're going to talk about one of the simplest yet most powerful tools that you have in digital marketing right now, and that is boosted posts. And we're going to talk about how $20 can go a long way when it's done correctly. And but before we do that, I'll let Joe introduce a little bit more about EmoryDay.
Absolutely. So obviously, you guys know EmoryDay. I won't belabor this too long. Mike and I got connected. Gosh, it's been a long time, right? How many years?
Last fall. First time? Let me look.
I thought we got connected. It feels like I thought we got connected like 5, 8 years ago, something.
Yeah, it was something like 2017 originally. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
okay.
We're old. This means we're old. That's all. We're getting old.
I love it. I love it. So you guys know EmoryDay. We're the best professionals, technology and AI. Been growing businesses for 20 years. We do full service marketing. We've got 50 US based team members, got a wonderful lead generation platform, serve thousands of clients. And our mission is really to grow y'all's businesses cost effectively using comprehensive marketing. We always say cost effectively because at the end of the day, we tend to work with small to medium sized businesses where cost is always just kind of a thing. And inside of that particular piece of the puzzle, if a client gives us $1, we need to show them where that dollar went. And with that, we help businesses thrive, whether you're aiming to increase your revenue or preparing to sell your business. So we love this stuff. When we're 4Xing revenues, 2Xing this, 200% that, that's what gets us excited. And we are really excited about what AI is bringing to the dashboard. That is one of those things where AI is just this big, wide open field. Today, we're using AI to do things like transcribe voice messages so that people can get the intent and the summary. We're using AI to research leads in advance of a person following up on a lead that just came in. And we're currently working on AI to answer text messages automatically and then write very personalized one-to-one sales follow-up emails. So super excited to bring that to you guys shortly. And I think with that, Kenny, let's dig in.
Yes. Well, thank you, Joe, for that introduction.
Yep.
And we'll get started. Just a little bit about what is a boosted post. And boosting a post means you're paying to increase your visibility. So it's taking that organic post and turning it into an ad. You're amplifying its reach to a new and targeted audience. And it's one of the easiest ways to kind of dip your toes into marketing without really doing a big, huge campaign. And it makes it a little bit easier to reach your audience at a cheaper cost. But before we get into that, you may be wondering what exactly is a boosted post. And so boosted is basically the simplest form of paid advertising. It's on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. It allows you to amplify an existing post reach beyond your organic audience. And so it makes it accessible to all account types. You don't need any advanced skills. You don't need to know how to work in Ad Manager. You're just able to push the boost button if you want, or you can do it in Ad Manager to get a little bit more advanced targeting. It works best for content that is already performing well organically. And you can use it for brand awareness, you can use it for traffic, and you can use it for conversions. And so now that we've defined what it is, let's kind of look at the benefits of boosting a post. Boosting isn't just about getting likes. You want to build your brand familiarity. I can't, I'm getting tongue tied with that word. Familiarity, and
It's Monday.
it is.
Yes, it
And-
is.
And ultimately, you're trying to get people to drive an action. Whether you're promoting an event, a service, raising awareness, boosting helps you get seen by the right people. And so here are some of the benefits of boosting a post and really why you should boost posts. It provides quick visibility. You can instantly increase your reach and engagement. There's a low barrier to entry. There's no complicated setup. You don't need large ad budgets. It does provide smart targeting. You can narrow your audience by location, interest, age, job title, and more. And you can also build your credibility. High engagement metrics create that social proof that you want in social media. And it increases your lead potential. Top of funnel awareness, you're warming up future buyers. And that allows them to just remember you as you continue to boost your post. And so just kind of to sum up these benefits a little bit, short term, you get more likes, you get reach, and you get comments. In the midterm, you get more followers, and you get more traffic. And long term, you get better leads and conversions. And then here's a kind of a stat from Meta itself. It's on average, boosted posts generate 3 times the reach and 5 times the engagement over organic posts. And so that kind of is Facebook telling you why you want to boost anyway on Facebook and Instagram. And it does get that increased engagement more so than just your post will get alone. So what can you expect when you boost a post? It's, again, as we said, it's not just about getting likes. You're building that brand familiarity, you're building that momentum, and you want people to engage when they see your future content. And that's kind of what you're looking for when you get through this. So here's a little bit more of what to expect in terms of timing, how it's driving those lasting leads and building your revenue over time. So in the first 24 hours to 48 hours, you're going to see more impressions, you're going to see more reactions. You may even see some leads, but most of the time in that first day, it's really the algorithm just learning how to serve. If you're boosting for a longer period of time, in 3 to 5 days, you're going to see a lot of clicks, you're going to see shares, you're going to see people messaging you. And then 1 to 2 weeks, you can expect those leads and start building a retargeting audience if you want to retarget. With all that said, this is just a general time frame. We've boosted posts releasing leads immediately. And so it's just, this is kind of a generalized time frame, which you can expect leads at any given time. But this is kind of how Meta says it's supposed to work. But just wanted to say, if you don't see leads immediately, it's because the algorithm is learning. And then as you continue to boost your different posts, you're going to see a lot of brand lift. You're going to be building trust, and you're also going to get a little bit of SEO benefits, which we'll talk about a little bit later in this presentation. And so what are some of the best practices for boosting? You want to start with a strong organic post, and you want to choose content that may be getting some good engagement already. And so, and then once you do that, you're going to choose a post that people are already engaging with. You don't have to choose the strongest. You can choose one that you really want to boost, and we'll talk a little bit more later on about which post to choose. But a good rule of thumb is to start with that organic post. You want to make sure you're using specific targeting. You don't want to boost to everyone. You want to narrow it down by interest, some demographics, or job titles. When you boost to everyone, it does dilute your message. It goes to people who aren't interested. So as you narrow it down, you get more benefit for that spend, especially if it's a small budget. You want to time it right. You want to boost your post at peak engagement times. And that does depend on your audience. Different audiences are on Facebook at different times. If you really want to get that business audience, it might be better to get them later in the day. But if your audience is on Facebook all day, you have plenty of time throughout the day to choose. But it's really just knowing when your audience is engaging on that particular medium, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, your audience may be on there during the day, not much at night. And so it's just really understanding when your audience is going to be there and when you really want to get that boost going. And then you want to make sure there's clear CTAs in your post. You want to make sure you're driving them with action statements like learn more, book now, or message us. And then track and test. You want to make sure that you're reviewing your performance, knowing what type of posts are working for you. And then you can test different variations as you continue to post different or boost different posts. And so how do you choose which posts to boost? The creative format does matter. Different posts yield different results when you're boosting. So a video, it's good for attention and storytelling. And storytelling doesn't have to be like you're telling a story. It's a narrative. It can be a problem solution. This is how we created a benefit for a particular client and talking about how you met their pain points, you provided that solution. That's that narrative. That's that storytelling. It can be a testimonial as well. A little tip for when you're boosting these is to make sure captions are turned on. Another tip is you can actually put your script as your post. It helps people read it. Most people aren't reading with sound turned on. In fact, 85% of the people do not have sound turned on when they're on social media. A carousel is good for products or step-by-steps. You can use a different card for a different benefit or to show different products, your products in use. You can show before and after. An image post is good for events. If you're doing some type of promotion or you want to show just one testimonial. With these image posts, you do want to keep text minimal because the image is what people are responding to. And then text only get you limited results, and they're usually you don't want to boost these because of those limited results. And the thing to remember is not all posts are worth boosting. Posts that are basic announcements, ones with low engagement, ones without a strong CTA, you probably don't want to boost those because you're not going to get the results you're looking for. And so let's look at more ways to choose a post. Your timing and your frequency do matter. Boosting immediately after publishing a post is often less effective than letting it gather some organic traction first. That algorithm is learning which people are responding to it. I wouldn't wait too long because the older it is, the more the audience has seen it. There can be a little bit of fatigue with it. But if we wait half a day to a day and then boost that post that is getting that traction, you are going to get a little bit of a better performance out of it. And it also allows you to see whether that post is really going to perform. You also want to boost your winners. Maybe it doesn't have to be a recent post. If it's an old post that's continuing to get good momentum, it's getting a lot of engagement, that's a good one to boost for you because it's going to get even more engagement. It's going to build that social proof and ultimately get more people to convert. But you do want to avoid over boosting, such as 10 posts at once, especially the smaller your budget, the less you want to boost. It does dilute your budget. It does dilute the focus. The algorithm doesn't really know which one it wants to focus on. So kind of boost judiciously depending on your budget. The more budget you have, the more posts you can boost at once. The smaller your budget, the more you want to focus on just maybe a top post or two. And then why does boosting work? And it seems weird that it's just an organic post you're paying to get it into more people's feed, but it does work. And it gives your best performing content the push it needs to reach the people you want it to reach. It's good for brand awareness, event promotion, lead nurturing, because you're paying to get seen, but you're getting seen by the right people. And you know you're getting those right people. Where it goes out organically, you don't know who it's going to show it to. Facebook's algorithms are very odd. As you all know, Facebook, Instagram, they put you in the echo chamber. It gives you what they think you want to hear. So, but when you boost it, it kind of forces that post into your target audience. And doesn't allow the algorithm to say, I think they want to see it. It says, I'm just going to show it to them anyway. 70% of the consumers say seeing a brand on social increases your trust and your credibility. And so that is another reason why it works. It's building that brand awareness. It's building that trust as they see your post. And then 61% of small business advertisers say boosting has generated measurable revenue. And that is something we have seen with our clients as well as our own marketing itself. Higher engagement and increased traffic signals from boosted content can boost your SEO. It's not like it's a very large boost. It's just a small boost, but it could be a significant boost depending on other SEO factors that you have going on. It does this by driving more branded searches. It increases people's time on your site. It improves social shareability as more people share your post. The algorithms do crawl those, or the bots do crawl those. It does give a little bit more factors and seeing those as backlinks to your site. And it kind of helps build the SEO credibility as well. It doesn't replace all of your SEO factors, which is now moving more to AEO than SEO, but it does help you get more visibility, and it does give a small boost. And here are a few more additional benefits that boosting does provide for you. By consistently boosting your highest performing content, you're signaling the algorithm certain factors. And those factors are you're telling it what your audience likes. So when you do post organically, it has a little bit of history of what type of posts get engagement, what content gets engagement. So that new organic post is likely to get seen by a larger audience. In addition to knowing that, it tells the algorithm what topics are working for you. And it's telling the algorithm what content gets that engagement. And so it helps Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube learn how to serve your content better over time. And as that learns that, you get better organic reach. Those leads are going to increase over time as well, just from the learning that it gets. But boosting on places like LinkedIn is an extremely smart idea. And this is why. LinkedIn is an expensive social media platform. And they know that people want to be in there. They know you're getting a very highly engaged audience, and you're going to pay for that premium. So a very valuable strategy on places like LinkedIn is to boost. And it also helps you get touch points. In fact, LinkedIn says you need about 14 touch points to get a conversion. Boosting allows you to get more of those touch points at a very cheap cost. Because LinkedIn, it's about $5 to $9 on average a click. That's an expensive click. I've seen some up to $14. It's the more tightly your audience is on LinkedIn, the more it's going to cost. And that's just unfortunately how LinkedIn is. You're paying for that engaged audience. You're paying for that tight targeting. But boosting allows you to get that tight targeting at a much cheaper cost. Sometimes as low as a few cents. Most of the time it's going to be around $1 or $2. Still significant savings for LinkedIn, even at $1 or $2. And I did forget to put that up there. But you are boosting on LinkedIn at a very good value. And when you're boosting, you benefit from that trust. You're building that trust again. And I keep reiterating that word because that is one of the most important things of boosting is you're building that audience trust. You're building people to know who you are. And the more they know who you are, the more they trust you, and the more likely they are to convert. It is somewhat of a long game, but it's also can be a short game as well. And we've seen a lot of benefits both ways. And it's great for B2B lead generation, especially if you're a service provider or a consultant. It's, again, cheap, and because getting your audience is going to be very expensive on LinkedIn. And again, we've seen some good success with things of either it's just boosting a webinar invitation like the one we did today, or it's boosting a lead gen form or a post that goes to a lead gen form, forcing those people to stay on LinkedIn and engage with that post. It can be very beneficial for you at a very cheap cost. And I've lost my train of thought, and I do apologize. And so how is it going to drive leads this way? You may be thinking that already. It's like, well, I know I'm boosting, I'm getting that awareness. How does that drive my leads? Well, it helps you build familiarity with people. They see your brand repeatedly, they're more likely to buy. It's also that 80% of sales require 5 to 8 touch points. So boosting is a cheap way to get those touch points. And boosted posts allow you to create low-cost touch points. You're not paying those ads and those high ad costs for that targeted audience. And it also allows you to retarget later with people who have seen your boosted post and engage them with an ad that's going to be a little bit cheaper to touch them. And that is kind of a marketing tip I have here. It's not something you have to do, But it's something you can do as you get more comfortable with boosting posts. If you're doing it on your own, or if you're using EmoryDay, we can set this up for you. But it's just really to boost all these people who've seen your post and retarget them with a lead gen ad. They're highly engaged. You're more likely to get leads. And we have seen success with real clients. One of our clients who is a B2B client, we have boosted over 100 posts for them throughout just this year alone. And this is this year's stats. We're seeing an average cost of $1.22 per click for these boosted posts. They've reached about 42,818 people, and we've generated 189 leads just from boosts alone. The strategy has delivered consistent low-cost leads, and they're getting very strong engagement. Another example from a current client is this has only been running just a short period of time, but our boosted post is outdoing the traditional ads. You can see the lead count here. A boosted post has gotten 4 leads, and it's coming in at $47 cheaper as a cost per lead than a regular ad campaign, which has brought in 3 leads. And this is a landscaping company business, so they're reaching consumers. And you're seeing how that mix of a regular ad campaign plus the boosted post is getting them much cheaper leads than it would just with the ad campaign alone. And so the takeaway I get from this is that boosting posts isn't just an easy thing to do. It's a very effective thing for you to do. And it can outperform traditional ads. It'll stretch your budget further and get you some qualified leads. And so here is a ChatGPT prompt that you can use. And it's easy to, we'll send this out to you later, but it's easy for ChatGPT to create a plan for you. It's just simple. And I actually did try this out and it did work fairly well. Is to create a $20 boosted post campaign to promote my product or service, include copy tips, targeting strategy, timing, and how to track results. And it will give you a very good plan on boosting your post. And just kind of as a final thought before we go into questions and discussion, is boosting isn't just easy, it's smart for you. It's more than just pressing a button. It is a very effective strategy. It's not a magic bullet, but it's a cost-effective way to drive real results, build that trust, and generate leads. And so kind of here's a plan, a good plan for you as you go about it, is to boost testimonials, boost behind the scenes post or storytelling post. Always add captions to your videos because 85% of people watch without sound. Never boost just to get likes. It's a much bigger strategy than that. And so here's a good DIY plan for you that we presented. EmoryDay is also here to help you as well. And now we'll open it up for questions and discussion.
Well, Kenny, just fantastic job on, making an easy topic easier to understand and more powerful. One of the things that I would add to it is time is money. And one of the things, thank you for that, Mike. One of the things that we need to always keep in mind is if we're going to take the time and energy to do something, we've burned your hourly rate. Like everybody's got, a certain amount of, money that their time is worth. So if you're going to invest 2 hours in a post, take what you think your hourly rate is and go, well, why would I just throw that into the social media so that Zuckerberg can only show it to 1/10 of my followers? If it was worth doing, it's worth putting just a little bit of money behind it. And, we have 2 great businesses in the room that, are perfect for these scenarios. Mike has a wonderful business, Advantage. Is it Advantage Resources, right? If I remember correctly? Yeah. Fantastic. So Mike is a tremendous resource for coaching, business development. His team creates revenue. Now, the interesting thing about coaching is you really want to display your capabilities. You want to create those multiple touch points. You want to, before you have a conversation with someone for the first time, you want to lay a little bit of the groundwork of what you do so they come prepared, they understand you. So boosting is amazing for you. And on the other side, we have Brad from Real Media, and he's the belle of the ball. He does amazing corporate videos, and he does them professionally, like a filmographer would, not like just shooting, with your handheld iPhone. And because of that, that is going to take someone's brand to the next level. But it's also a fairly complicated topic with lots of questions. So Brad's team wants to demystify that. It wants to make video accessible. And what better than, a series of social media posts that kind of take someone on a little bit of a journey? Because we always have to remember, if there's 100 people in a room, only 2 of them are in market right now, right? So then we have 98 other people that we have to be farmers, because we can only be hunters so much. We have to be farming, planting seeds, watering them, growing a garden, demystifying, getting people comfortable with us, brand recognition. And that's where boosting really comes in. So thanks for letting me share that, Kenny. Just a fantastic presentation, my friend. Another great one. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Mike or Brad, any salient questions for Kenny that we can dig into?
Kenny,
I think this was good information about how to create, at least a exploratory process to use boosting to enhance whatever you do. So, yeah, and Joe will tell you this, that I drink my Kool-Aid before I serve it. So I'm going to test this concept on my own stuff. And if it works, then I will bring it to the table to my clients as well, because anything that works for a small business is valuable. Because most people don't understand that small business space between a startup and maybe a $20 million a year company is very constrained in the operational capital they have to do this stuff. So they got to have things that are extraordinarily efficient and extraordinarily effective. Large corporations, privately held large corporations and publicly held corporations, they can throw money at things, and they don't even blink an eye. But the guy that's worried about keeping the lights on and the doors open in the tight season, they're going to really have a challenge unless they can find something along like what Kenny just laid out for us that works. So I'm gonna try this thing. If it works, I'll drink my own Kool-Aid, and then I'll serve it to my clients.
I love it. Great thoughts, Mike. Thank you very much. Brad, my friend.
Yeah. So I'm really intrigued by the LinkedIn boosting, for us, excuse me. I feel like maybe that would be a pretty good strategy. I mean, all of our target audience is definitely, it feels like that'd be a good place for us to connect with them. And I hadn't even thought of boosting content there, but right now, Joe, as you know, and Kenny probably too, that we've been trying to do Facebook boosting. One question that I have is, it feels like maybe the best kept secret to do that instead of running an ad.
Kind of is, yes.
Quite frankly, it's like, why would we ever run an ad?
It is. It's much cheaper.
We're with you.
Not only have we seen people, I'll just use EmoryDay as an example, not only have we gotten leads out of boosting for a lot of people, but especially when we run EmoryDay boost, we get page follows, and that's kind of an unexpected benefit.
I'm looking, so we ran our little VSL ad. We ran it for basically a week. And I'm looking at the numbers here on the side here, 32,000 views in 1 week. And that was boost, and that probably cost me $200. Now, we obviously are tweaking it and all that stuff, but that's a pretty amazing number, I think.
It is.
And that's
organically,
Facebook.
you mainly get a fraction of that.
Yeah.
And if you pay for an ad, you're still only going to get a fraction of that, because they're going to charge you 4 or 5 times what the boost
seems
costs.
silly to run an ad to me in light of that. So I don't know. And do you think that LinkedIn is a similar type of thing?
Yes. I think LinkedIn, it has its own quirks. Facebook, everybody's in Facebook every day. And they're in Facebook several times a day. So you're more likely to reach people quickly. But with LinkedIn, we go into LinkedIn maybe 2 or 3 times a month, if that much. But people, when they're in LinkedIn, they're a lot more receptive than they are on Facebook. So it doesn't take as much. I know LinkedIn says 14 touch points, which in a lot of that is true when it's a cold audience. But people are a bit more receptive to things on LinkedIn because you're already in that mindset. You're at work. A lot of people are doing, especially HR, they're getting job posts ready. They're running through job
Yeah.
posts. People are trying to connect with other people in their industry. They're looking for industry news. That's mostly what I'm doing on LinkedIn, is looking at industry news. And so I'm a bit more receptive to things I see on that. And if you can hit people cheaper than those, $14 cost per click, it's a lot more cost effective for you. And I think if you target it correctly, you're going to get the right people at a very good cost.
Yeah. Just to kind of echo that particular piece of the puzzle, Brad, to come back to your advertising question, which is a real wonderful observation. We always start our video, our VSLs that kind of are the basis for our Leads Accelerator program in Meta. And Kenny may have different ratios, but for me, the way I kind of like to think of it is Meta, which is really Instagram and Facebook. A lot of people say Facebook, but then people look at me and go, I'm not on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. And they say it like you're an old fuddy. I get it, right? Totally, I get it, right? I'm also not on TikTok, except every once in a while. And I have now a new generation of business owners who are like, if it's not TikTok, it's not happening. So that's just the evolution of the beast. But we have found, in my humble opinion, that Meta is about 20 to 25% of the cost of anything that's happening on LinkedIn. And what that means is, and they're fantastic targeters. So they have a wealth of information about an individual that's very usage-based, because they're absorbing a lot of data in that algorithm from someone's use. So we can target based on industry and we can target based on interest. And between the two of them in Meta, you get some really fantastic people. We're talking to presidents and CEOs of 100, 200, $300 million companies. And they're like, Joe, I don't know how we're talking together. I was like, because you saw us on Meta. Now, the reason why I go on that dialogue is because I love to work stuff out on Meta and then take it to LinkedIn. But when we go to LinkedIn, because if we are advertising, we know we got to bring a little bit of coin. But Brad, to your point, like, just boost it. One of the things, we eat our own dog food at EmoryDay, and in April of this year, we went on a content offensive, and we set objectives. And John, who's on this call, is an amazing architect and partners with Kenny on our own personal content offensive. When we started boosting, I heard people literally go, Joe, every time I open my feeds, I see your face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, like my wife is tired. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like I'm down, like, but I even have to apologize to my wife. I'm like, I'm sorry, you see me 24 hours a day and I'm now in your socials. But there is kind of something to be learned from that.
Yeah.
And that's something that, really is kind of a thing. So one of the things in both of your business models, whether you do it yourselves or you engage EmoryDay or you just preach the gospel, they used to say the average individual needed 7 touch points. And they said it was something like 3 medium, over 4 months. And they had this cute little formula. And you're like, okay, well, I need to do direct mail and I need to make a phone call and I need to, stop by their house and I need to, send them an email, and you figured out all this stuff. And then they figured that everybody just went ADHD. So now they're saying things like 25 touch points. But one of the things that we're finding is, because we're investing in content, people are showing up more ready to buy. They're showing up going, I got a feel for EmoryDay. And we would not do that if it wasn't for Kenny's team and boosting, because quite frankly, cobbler's kids have no shoes. We had neglected our own audiences for so long. So our follower count was at a point where I was like, it's kind of embarrassing. And the reality is, even if you have a strong follower count, an organic post only reaches what, Kenny, 10, 15, 20% on a good day?
Yeah.
Ish.
Right? If that high, yeah.
If that high.
Most people don't realize that, do they?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think they realize that they just spent 2 hours on a post making it beautiful and it's going to be seen by 15 people.
Yeah.
Because they see it in their feed. That's the difference. They see it on their feed. So all of a sudden they're like, well, if it's on my feed, like other people are seeing it. But it's just not the case. Any other questions for Kenny? Gentlemen, thanks for being part of our orbit, and thanks for bringing excellence to your clients. I wish you guys tremendous success, and we will be catching up. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.